Good morning, everyone. My name is Vincent. Thanks for coming this morning to this first keynote. I work at the BBC Worldwide, where I lead on digital and social media. And it's my pleasure today to explain and give you insights in terms of how we operate. Before I do this, how many of you are aware of what the BBC Worldwide is? Okay, so roughly 1/3 of the room. So the BBC Worldwide is the commercial arm of the BBC Public Service. So its job is to more or less buy IPs from the BBC Public Service, brands like Top Gear, Doctor Who, and BBC Earth, and to maximize the value of these brands. So we've made about £1 billion of revenue last year doing this. We employ about 1,900 people. We operate in about 200 countries. And we also create our own content. And I'm going to touch on this in a minute. So we have a number of channels all over the world. We also deliver apps and games. We have a number of websites, the most famous one being the bbc.com website. We sell consumer products. We've launched the global iPlayer. And we also organize live events like the Doctor Who convention. So we've been pretty successful to date to export British content worldwide, but we've noticed some radical shift in the way that people consume our content. And to put it simply, that is the intersection of linear and web broadcast TV. It is changing the way that people consume and find content. So we have to change our approach. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. So I'm going to introduce the first buzzword of the morning, which is catch-up TV. So catch-up TV was actually introduced in the UK by the BBC iPlayer in 2007. The change in behavior that this caused is not so much about the patterns about how people consume TV, because more or less people wake up with radio, watch online TV all day long, and then there is a peak of consumption at about 8 to 10 on linear TV, and then the catch-up TV takes over. So in fact, the patterns are the same, but people tend to watch TV much more late in the night, and therefore wake up much more tired in the morning. The second buzzword that I'm introducing is video on demand. We love video on demand. This market has just doubled in size over the last 12 months. And yeah, it is a significant driver in the way that people consume content nowadays. Together, catch-up TV and video-on-demand services, they just increase the amount of time that people spend watching TV. Overall, it's about 2 months over people's life every 12 months. So it's about 4 hours of TV consumption every day. So we are spending 2 months every year watching TV non-stop. And of course, this mixed with online and social has created the third buzzword, which is social TV. Roughly 4 out of 5 smartphone and tablet users uses their devices when they watch TV. They use their devices to shop, to get information, and of course to engage with their friends. So to give you an example in terms of the volume that this represents for our brands, this is a snapshot of activities on Twitter for Top Gear, the first episode of the last season. On Sunday, the 2nd of February, about 60,000 tweets with a peak of 2,700 tweets per minute, which roughly translates into about 81 million impressions. So over the course of about 2 hours, tweets about Top Gear and hashtag about Top Gear have been printed about 89 million times. That's pretty significant. Sherlock was, in January, by far the largest drama show tweeted in the world, so with about 237 tweets over the course of 2 hours, with a peak of about 4,500 tweets per minute, and roughly a reach of about 228 million people. So the volume of that social conversation is just huge. So this is creating a new industry, an industry to measure the impact of social conversation on TV ratings, and vice versa. So Twitter have partnered with Nielsen to introduce the Nielsen Twitter TV ratings. But to be honest, we don't know yet what it means. Can we really agree that because people tweet, this will automatically increase TV ratings. It's not clear. If you look at the ratings of Breaking Bad, the finale in the US, it was the most tweeted show in the US, but it didn't even reach top 10 in terms of ratings. So the correlation between social conversation and TV ratings is not clear yet. Anyway, there is a race to prove the points because this is big ad sales money. And Twitter is trying to prove the points. They've partnered with Comcast to deliver this new feature called Seeds. So you will be able to see your programs within the tweets live, or you will be able to record in the US, Comcast users, but it will come in Europe. You will be able to record your your programs directly from the tweets. So we will be able to measure the correlation between tweets and TV engagement. Facebook, of course, doesn't want to be left out of the game. They've introduced at MIPCON 2 APIs. The first one is called the Keyword Insights API. So where Twitter is very good at telling us the volume of people that talk about a show, Facebook is trying to tell us what kind of people actually watch our shows. They've introduced a second API which helps broadcasters, or in fact any third party, to extract public conversation and display this public conversation on videos, on TV. So they are also trying to prove the point that social engagements increase TV ratings. Whatever happens, we believe that content is the key. But not just any content. Any content would extend the story beyond the show. And in fact, within any industry, content that extends your industry story beyond your products. Because what we've learned over the last couple of years is that fan wants to get involved, and it's how creative we are in engaging with them and keeping them engaged that will determine how profitable we are in the future. So the key is engagement. Engagement will determine how much money we make in the future. So the question is, how are we addressing this, and how can this help all of you guys? So specifically for the BBC Worldwide, we plan to grow our content investment by about 30 million to about 200 million pounds per annum. We will create few new brands, BBC Earth, BBC First, BBC Brit, and BBC First. And we will secure our route to market by leveraging our assets like bbc.com. And of course, we will extend the fan enjoyment beyond the broadcast. And we are going to use social, and we are using social. In fact, we have about 34 million likes on Facebook, sorry, missing the K. About 5.6 million on Google, about 2.4 on Twitter. It's about 19 teams across the world operating in social. I'm not sure you're going to see the fine print here, the details, but what that says is that social is now above the line marketing for us. Because last year, in terms of top 3 posts with the most impact, one post for Doctor Who, which was about the announcement of Peter Capaldi as the next Doctor, managed to reach about 5 million people in less than 3 hours. So this is above the line marketing with an engagement of about 1 million people. So 1 million people liked or shared the actual tweets, the actual post. It was a post on Facebook. Top Gear last year managed to reach about 4 million people and about roughly 1 million engaged with it. And Sherlock, I think that was the last episode, reached about 2 million people. So this is above the line marketing for us. And we are leveraging platform in different ways. So Facebook is mostly our hub, right? In fact, Facebook tends to extend in all directions. It used to be an open graph, it's becoming an interest graph, it's going into mobile, it's going to be mobile chat. So it is a hub for social, and this is where we invest most of the time. We use Twitter for real-time interaction, of course. We use Google Plus as a way to improve our SEOs. And we use Tumblr if we want to create a more intimate link with our audience, or if we want to target a younger audience. We are using Instagram more and more, but I would say the thinking there is not yet structured, but it's becoming our hub for mobile activity, of course. We use Pinterest if we want to engage about our consumer products. We are not yet using Line and WeChat, but I've mentioned these two platforms because they are important, especially in the Asian market. Line is now the dominant force in Japan. And they have a very, very interesting business model. Not great for us because we have to pay as brands, but it's a different business model from Twitter or Facebook, based on stickers and virtual goods. And WeChat is the dominant platform in China. So it's two platforms to keep an eye on. So we've been doing this for about a couple of years. We are mixing business as usual type of posting, regular posting, about 30 posts or tweets per week. Although on Instagram, one post on Instagram has more or less the same effect as one tweet on Twitter so far for us on Top Gear. Interesting. But yes, we've been mixing always-on engagement with innovation, and we've managed to maintain and in fact go above industry standards. So this chart just shows you where we are in terms of engagement compared to the markets. Of course, the larger the page, like Top Gear, which is about 13 million fans, the lower the engagement. That chart was produced with a tool called Social Baker. So we've been doing this over the last couple of years with quite some success, and more we are concerned about security. So in fact, in 2012, that concept of social security was nascent. There was one or two high-profile attacks on Twitter or Facebook accounts. In 2013, an explosion of attacks from the Electronic Syrian Army, on CNN, on Al Jazeera, on the BBC itself, BBC Weather. And sometimes some very, very serious consequences, like this Associated Press Twitter account that was hacked with this message that Barack Obama was hit during a bomb attempt in the White House. The Dow Jones Index just lost hundreds of millions of value in 10 minutes. So this subject of social security is becoming extremely important because suddenly people realize it's easy to social engineer accounts and to actually talk on behalf of brands and have a lot of power for doing this. So we are refining our governance, which is a mix of different things: editorial policy, social media crisis management, and escalation process. I could not emphasize enough how important it is to have a third-party escalation process, because if you are being compromised, if you don't have link to Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest, it takes time to recover your account. It takes time because this platform will always check that you are the legitimate owner, and that process takes some time. So you really want to have that escalation process set up right now in case the worst happens. Of course, we have moderation policy, commercial policy, UGC policies, third-party guidelines, security standards, a number of governance assets to help us secure the way we operate. And we have tools, of course, to support the governance. We have content workflow management tools, publishing tools like Hootsuite. We have moderation tools like crisp thinking. And we have brand monitoring tools like Brainwatch. So now that we are secure, we can focus on the key outcomes. Because why bother? Why do digital? Why do social? Well, as far as we're concerned, it's about these 5 objectives. And if our activities don't fit within each or one of these objectives, we just don't do it. Because there is so much desire, so much energy, so much passion to do stuff in social and digital. So it has to be funnel. And if it doesn't fit this criteria, we don't do it. So is the activity about reaching a new audience? Is it about building on an existing community to send traffic to a website? Is it about connecting and engaging so we can get more likes, more emails, more data? Or is it to create a purchase intent? So I'm gonna cover each one of these objectives with some examples that we've done over the last 12 months or so. Starting with awareness. So this post was seen by about 700,000 people, and it was about raising awareness for the new Top Gear iPad magazine. So an exclusive video that you could only watch on the iPad magazine. Again, this is above the line. That post, in about 3 hours, was seen by about 700,000 people. So that's a good way to raise awareness for a new product. Traffic. We've been leveraging Facebook to send traffic to the top gear websites for quite some time now. Last year, we've had about 100 million visitors, about 50 million uniques, and Facebook drove about 38% of that traffic. We do not monetize this directly. We activate our audience, we sell creative solutions, but this does contribute to the top gear P&L. So it is serious money. We are expecting this mechanism to change, to stop. Facebook themselves, they've announced in a post in December that they expect that organic reach will decline to improve the way that people see stuff in their new feeds. What does it mean for us brands? Well, it means we used to reach about 40% of our audience on Facebook. This will decrease, and the game is going to be pay to play. This is clear. Connection. How do we connect? Well, we've grown this Facebook page up to 13 million likes. We all know that likes is not a significant KPI, although when you work in corporation, it is a KPI that people understand, so we still use that KPI to show the impact of our work. And we've done this because we've fine-tuned and we've really got insight in terms of what is that specific audience on Facebook. So the content we create is not any top gear content. It is tailored for this audience called the petrol heads with attitudes. So they're maybe not new. They may be not. They are new to the brands, but they are very image conscious. They are youthful, expressive, and this kind of content resonates very well. So when we've been sent that picture, which is a Photoshop edit, by the way, of Jeremy Clarkson in a Lada in Russia, engagement went to the roof. When we've sent that picture, which I still don't know what it is, to that audience, asking them, what is it? We've received thousands of replies. Yeah, it's that antenna of the BMW M3 in the Top Gear car park. When we've organized competitions, we just haven't given away iPads. We've organized competition for people to win the chance to have the Xbox Forza video game, because in the Forza video games, people can play on the dancehall Top Gear track. Engagements, that's the most important, most interesting part of our jobs. And sometimes it could be very simple. For example, this process is brilliant. Every Friday, we ask our audience, our fans, to tell us on Sunday how they spend their weekends in their car. Sorry, not in their car, with their cars. And we receive a large number of pictures and comments and videos, sometimes pretty high-quality pictures. In that case, that man was driving his Porsche on top of the M6. And then we inform the very same people that we've displayed their picture on our website, and then traffic is then being built on the website. So asking people to engage and do stuff around your brand's ecosystem, and informing the same people that they've done stuff for you, is just a smart way to engage and create traffic. Lately, we've proposed our fans to have a go at driving with a stick. So we've launched this application on Facebook, which more or less works like this. You can import your picture, and there you go. You are with the stick on the reasonably priced car tour. Of course, you can share with your friends. Another way to engage. This one was a massive hit. We've partnered with Google to more or less create a street view of the Top Gear racetrack. And now on, if you go on the Google Map and you click on dancehall, you are immersed in a 360-degree view of the track, and you can drive alongside, and you can see the stick driving review. Again, huge success in terms of engagement. Commerce. So about 2 years ago, I did a search on YouTube about Stig and Lego. Sorry, Top Gear and Lego, and I found this. the amount of UGC, the amount of user-generated content around our brands is just phenomenal. Just one example of people having fun with Top Gear and Lego. So this has prompted the magazine team, Charlie Turner in that case, to create a Lego stick. And it was a limited edition. It was on sale, I think, for 2 days. Out of stock. You can't find it anymore except on eBay, where you have to pay something like £50 or £60. And Jeremy Clarkson helped us achieve this.
Some say that his heart ticks like a watch, and that he's confused by stares. Some say he's wanted by the CIA, and that he sleeps upside down like a bat. Some say that he's terrified of ducks, and that there's an airport in Russia named after him. All we know is he's called the Stig.
The Lego stick keyring. Of course, we could build on that. We could create new episodes for Legos, of Top Gear with Legos, and create new stories, and this will probably create engagement, and we could probably create more products out of this. One way to create commerce using social. Okay, the last example of commerce is a partnership between BBC America, so one of our channels, of course, in the US, and Verizon through Twitter. So Twitter have this program called the Amplify program, which give you tools to create innovation and to get sponsors to pay for that innovation and to benefit from it. So what we've done is this first-person view of the Top Gear Stig Power Lab within a tweet. So as you were watching the Power Lab on your TV, you could actually, on your smartphone, watch it from within the car. In that case, it was a Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, nice car. Of course, it started with some pre-TX tweets, prompting people to come for exclusive video content only available on Twitter, sponsored by Verizon. And then, of course, was the actual tweets where we were inviting people to ride along with the Stig. So if you do not know what is a Sesto Elemento and what it looks like, that's what it is. So you would see this on your smartphone as you were watching the car around the Power Lab. I think we have some sound. Nice sound, the Sesto Elemento. So this Amplify program has been used by us, has been used by broadcasters in the sports world, of course. The NBA is famous for live video tweeting their famous moments. And in fact, anyone can achieve the same results. There are platforms nowadays, one of them is called Snappy TV, that can help you, if you have a public feed of a broadcast, extract in real time the video that you want and then publish it on Twitter. That was not a plan, this thing. So another example of commerce, because that project was sponsored by Verizon. So as we were growing Verizon follower list, Verizon was paying for us to deliver the innovation. Of course, people love that innovation. I don't know if it's the real David Beckham, but best view in the world. Engagement for that tweet was about 88% of our follower base. And interestingly, the engagement just stopped as the car crossed the line. And of course, we've maintained that level of engagement after the show with some action replay of the best moments. So that's another example of how we've managed to get some value out of all of these activities. So final words. I'm gonna use a metaphor here to explain my thinking, which is, in the world of trading at stock exchange, I was reading the other day that to get a competitive advantage in the past, the brokers were investing in improving their infrastructure, like fiber link, high-speed internet access, so they can trade with at the fastest speeds possible, because in this world of high trading and high volumes, every second, every 1,000 of a second count, right? What I've read the other day is that now they are about to build a new infrastructure based on laser. They're going to use military infrastructure, laser, to actually send information to other hubs to trade faster than the other guy. And it's the same kind of arm race competition in digital and in social, right? What we've done so far, we could have optimized tenfold by using big data platforms, not to mention them social flow, for example, and get a competitive advantage, because at the end of the day, we used to follow about 5 brands in social. We are now about to follow about 50 brands, about 5,000 news feed elements every month, maybe more than that. So there is this arm race, but my view is that technology is not all, right? It's the way that you think, the way that we think. It's how creative we are in engaging with our fans and keeping them engaged that will determine how profitable we are in the future. So technology will not determine how profitable we are in the future. The way we think, the way we create that content, the way we immerse our fans into their passion will determine how profitable we are in the future. And that's the way we operate at BBC Worldwide. Thank you very much for your time. I think there is a Q&A session, so if you have questions, I'll be glad to answer. There is a microphone in the back. Yeah, gentleman.
Hello.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for that. Obviously, you focused a lot on motoring, which is a very specific sort of topic and demographic. Within BBC Worldwide, are there any sectors that you've struggled to get this type of traction with and found a way to overcome that, maybe?
So of course, yes. Of course, yes. In fact, about a year ago, I saw this interesting infographic that says that most brands can't relate on social because they're not that sexy. So I'm not going to cut a long story short because it's an important one, but the way we operate and the way that we try and minimize the risk and get success, because you're right, not all brands will get that level of success. We have a brand definition exercise, which is, okay, who is my audience? What are their needs? And therefore, what is my mission? And therefore, why do I deliver? And what is my promise? And therefore, how can I do it? What are my personality traits? So that process helps us identify our big ideas. And if our big ideas do not tick the box, okay, sorry, that big idea doesn't fit the bill for our audience needs, it doesn't fit the bill in terms of our values and mission, doesn't fit the bill in terms of our personality traits, we just don't do it, so we minimize the risk. I'm sorry, it's a bit theoretical, but that's really the foundation of how we can operate. The second reply is, and this is a favorite of mine, which is in digital and in social. In fact, forget about technology. When you love something, there is a paradise around what you love, right? So technically, it means they are social objects. So for example, we've been tasked to launch a social activity around Walking with Dinosaurs, the movie, in 3D. And the ambition of our producer was to get 1 million followers in about 6 months, 9 months for the movie, before the movie. And at that time, it seems to be high objective, but achievable. And so we did what we had to do. I think to date, the page is about 60,000 followers. Because go engage on dinosaurs every day and get passion around it. So we are changing the way we operate, which is, okay, we're not going to talk about dinosaurs. We are going to identify the object around dinosaurs. And we are going to ask experts in all of these fields to help us and syndicate content. It could be paleontologists, it could be some biologists about DNA. And then we're going to try and tap into different audiences, because if we focus on our core audience, we will never reach 1 million. So we've seen a change in the pattern in the growth of likes, because we've extended to other areas that were not core to the main subject, in that case dinosaurs. So that's one way to solve the problem. And the third way is this, which is, of course, the foundation of any social activity is your calendar. It's okay, calendar, but based on your narrative. So what is my master narrative? What is my main story? And then what are my sub-stories? And they are stories which are not necessarily attached to your brand, but maybe attached to what people do. In the case of dinosaur, maybe there is a dinosaur day on Earth, on I don't know which day it is, and then maybe there are a collection of events, and so we have to map all of these kind of events, which create another stream of stories, and then this social object concept, which create another stream of stories. So all of these stories get you there. But you're right, it's especially now when Facebook is changing the way we play, and Twitter is becoming harder and harder to engage in real time because more and more content. You can't expect to build from 0 to millions. It takes time and effort and commitment. I think we have another question.
Hi, I'm Abigail Fryman from The Tablet. So I work for a news journal, and I mean, thank you very much for your talk. And certainly Top Gear does kind of lend itself to user-generated content and a very sort of fun and lively brand. But I wondered what examples you could give of those kind of equivalents within some of the news programs that the BBC puts out.
So I think so just to clarify things in terms of how we operate, there is the BBC Public Service, there is the BBC Worldwide, and there is the Global News Organization, which is a joint venture between BBC Worldwide and Global News. So we're not operating in the news space, but of course I'm having conversation with my colleagues at Global News. And one of the things they've done recently to leverage this Twitter Amplify program, which is one way to monetize your engagement, they've created this hashtag called trending news and trending social news, I think it's called. And they more or less curate, they more or less identified through different platforms trends in social and digital, and then they ask people to contribute to this trend, and they curate that content through this hashtag, and this is being sponsored by. So they actually have a business model to leverage UGC, focusing on trending news, not on factual news, because as we all know, the BBC is principle is we can't advocate anyone, but surfacing news, trending news through the power of the crowd, this is being amplified through the Twitter program and sell to sponsors. So that's one way that the news guys. I'm also aware that the BBC Public Service has a user-generated content team. I think it's about 20 people. And these people prompt users, when there is a breaking news, not trending news, breaking news, they prompt people to surface content. And their job, of course, is to make sure that they do it in safety and also sanity check that the source of the information is real. So it's also one other way to generate some content tapping into UGC. But again, the whole process is not to extract UGC. The whole process is to make sure that people that do provide news content, let's say a bomb explodes somewhere or whatever, are doing this in safety, and that the source of information has been sanity checked. So these are the two examples I have in mind in the news world. Yeah. Sorry. Do we have other questions? Yes.
Hi, I'm Tamia Sabo from Living Social. I just had a question from a sort of like a brand perspective. I appreciate for the BBC there's massive engagement. So I was wondering, do you interact with the user comments from the brand profile? And do you measure and catalog the positive or negative sentiment around each TV show?
So this is something that we don't do fully yet. We have about 200,000 comments every month on one page. So we just can't engage at individual level, which is a shame because in reality, in social, what you want to talk from a persona and you want to engage as a persona. We're getting there. We are implementing a platform that can help us organize user comments in different categories, and we have actions for each of these piece of content in these categories. And sometimes we do engage. When we engage for sure is when we have specific campaigns, like the Doctor Who 50th, for example, where we will engage at personal level, or when we organize competitions, of course we engage with our audience. But on a daily basis, there is no, it's still broadcasting mode. It's still us about creating content, immersing people in that content, and sometimes having a conversation. We are not yet doing real time, if that's your question, which is one of in fact, the third big trend. I was reading the other day that Coca-Cola, Coke, are going to invest millions into building a real-time capability. So in fact, Coke is going to become a competitor to BBC and BBC Worldwide because they're going to have people on the spot, engaging in real time, playing with other brands, replying in real time. So we don't do that yet, and it requires a serious infrastructure and serious budgets, and we are operating on a very small budget at the BBC. Okay, I think we don't have time for sorry about that, more questions. Thanks for coming. I think the site will be somewhere you can download, and have fun for the rest of the day.